It sounds criminal, but it's not. And the result is that you've got a lot of alternative sources of revenue that these PBMs are gathering.
Hi, I'm Scott Borden, Senior Vice President of Marketing and Partnerships with WLT Software, here with my good friend Jim Lodge. You are known as whom?
The PBM Insider on LinkedIn.
PBM Insider with the HSA guy. So what are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about some of the PBM reform that's come through in the last couple of weeks at the federal level.
Well, what's your take on overall as far as your outlook on what this is actually going to accomplish?
I think it's absolutely going to be helpful. I mean, finally, we have sort of the national stage and people are recognizing that something needs to be done with regard to PBM reform. Now, how it's going to come to pass and what's actually going to happen with enforcement and all that kind of stuff remains to be seen. But it's definitely a move in the right direction.
So let's set the stage a little bit. This is very recent legislation and it's actually passed and it's actually law now, right? We're not talking about an executive order from Trump. It's actual law.
Right.
All right, so it's Consolidated Appropriations Act and it includes what aspects?
So there's a whole bunch of stuff, but it's all kind of steeped in ERISA. But the three main things are that it's requiring 100% pass-through of rebates, other discounts, any kind of manufacturer-funded payment that's going back to the PBM has to be passed through to the plan sponsors. So that's one thing.
Nice.
The second thing is it's requiring full transparency around reporting. So, dollar for dollar, where is the money being spent? As opposed to, there's multiple revenue cycles that some of these PBMs currently have, and the end client, the plan sponsor, will not even see them. And then the third thing it's doing is it's providing for audit capabilities for those plan sponsors to be able to go in and see the data that they need to see, because right now, a lot of that data is hidden from the plan sponsor to be able to accurately and from a fiduciary standpoint, meet their fiduciary duty to audit those plans.
So what I've heard, and of course I've been in the industry a long time, but never on the PBM side, isn't it a lot of times where the PBM will actually be pocketing more money from the sale than the even pharmacy does or the manufacturer?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and what you're talking about in its most obvious form is what's called spread pricing, where the pharmacy might get reimbursed, $80 on a drug that the PBM is charging the plan $200 for. And it sounds criminal, but it's not. And the result is that you've got a lot of alternative sources of revenue that these PBMs are gathering based on the price of the drug. So it's a percentage of the price of the drug, whether that be in rebates, manufacturer fees that are paid, all based on the percentage of the drug. So it's based on drug price. That has nothing to do with administering a claim.
But this legislation is really aiming on the transparency part. So let's talk about transparency and what some people say they're transparent PBM, and yet sometimes they're not really transparent other than in name only. Is that correct?
That's true. I mean, transparency has a whole bunch of different definitions we've found out, good, bad, or otherwise. And there are a number of organizations that they'll say, well, we're being real transparent about the rebates as an example. But what they aren't telling you is they may have an upline group purchasing organization or rebate aggregator that's actually collecting fees from the manufacturer that effectively make the cost of the drug cheaper to that organization, but that doesn't get passed down back to the PBM or passed through to the ultimate client.